in Britain, in America, in parliaments all over Europe. It's not just going on now, it's been going on for years and years and years and years. But what some people say is that they say, look, there is corruption, but the reason why there's some corruption is because there's some corrupt individuals. Just a few bad people, yeah, that are milking everybody. But at the end of the day, it's just a few bad individuals. If we get rid of them, then everything will go back to normal and, you know, we can enjoy our democracy, etc. But what this expenses scandal has shown, brothers, is that it's not just a few people. Because almost all the MPs have been involved in this, across all the major parties. So it shows that there is something inbuilt in democracy that corrupts the individuals. And there are even some MPs that said that before they entered into politics, you know, they were going in there with like a sincere mind, yeah? They were thinking, I want to go into politics, I want to help my community, I want to help the people, I want to do what's good for the country. And they said, when we got onto, you know, the politics in Britain, we saw everybody else getting involved in these expensive scandals. And they say we got tempted and everybody was encouraging us to do it. So in reality, brothers, it is actually the system that is corrupting the individuals. And it's not just a case of a few corrupt individuals or a few bad apples, yeah? So what is it about democracy that corrupts the individuals? Because there's got to be something that is corrupting the individuals. And the answer is, brothers, is that democracy has two core values. Yeah? I'm sure we've all heard them before. Two core ideas that it tells you to believe in. One of them is that you're free. You're free to do whatever you want. Everyone's heard this phrase, land of the free, I'm free to do whatever I want, etc. Yeah? This is a democratic idea, a Western idea. So you're free to do whatever you want. The second idea that they tell you to believe in is benefit. Okay? So you're free to do whatever you want, and when you do something, you've got to make sure that it benefits you. Don't worry about everybody else, you've got to make sure it benefits you. These are the core Western values. So imagine it, yeah? You've got a politician who walks into Westminster, he thinks in his mind, right, I'm free to do whatever I want, I should just do whatever benefits me. And then he sees a big pot of money that he can take money from whenever he wants and just basically lie that it's about expenses. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to use these ideas and he's going to think, I'm free to do this and this is good for me because it's my money's, so I'm just going to keep taking it. And this is the same mentality, brothers, that criminals have. So imagine a drug dealer, yeah? What went through his mind before he became a drug dealer? He thought, right, I'm free to do whatever I want. I need to make my monies. So I'm just going to become a drug dealer. I don't care if it harms other people. I don't care if they get hooked on drugs. I don't care if they OD. As long as I'm getting my monies, then it's all good. And that's what he does. And the same thing with a criminal who goes around stabbing people for their phones. The same thought process, brothers. I'm free to do whatever I want. He's got a phone, I want that phone, I don't care about him, stab him, take the phone, and I'm off. That's how they think, brothers. And these politicians, they're exactly the same as the criminals, except they wear suits. And they speak with these posh accents. And they've come from Eton. And they've got uni degrees. That's the only difference. That is the only difference. The suits. So brothers, we've got to understand that it is these Western values that are causing the corruption in the political process and the corruption that we see in the rest of society. All the crime, the social breakdown, it's all down to these values. Now at the same time, brothers, I don't want to sit here and completely slate Western values and democracy if I haven't got an alternative to present. Because that would just be a complete waste of time. And a lot of people, the way they view it is, okay, democracy might have its flaws, but it's the best system that we have. So we just got to get on with it. But all of us in this room know that that's not the case. We all know that Islam has an alternative system. Because Islam solves all of man's affairs, all of man's problems, Islam solves. Because it's comprehensive. Not only that, brothers, but Islam comes from who? It comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever comes from Allah is perfect. Because Allah is all-knowing. And Allah created us and He created this universe. So if He created for us a political system then it's guaranteed to be perfect and it's guaranteed to work. And if this political system was implemented, then you could guarantee, if it was implemented properly, you could guarantee there would be very, very little corruption. So brothers, what I want to do in my second part of the talk is I want to go through what is the Islamic political system, what are the values of the Islamic political system, and how would it solve the problems that we see in Western democracies, not only in Western democracies, but the governments and the political systems we have back home, inshallah. So the Islamic political system, brothers, it's based on two core values, two main principles, okay? One of those principles is that the politician, the Islamic politician, his job is to look after the affairs of the people. Not look after his affairs, like in Western politics, but in Islamic politics, the politician is supposed to look after the affairs of the people, okay? The second principle is that this position of ruling authority is extremely, extremely important. Yeah? Extremely important. And it's something that you should actually worry about when you take on because of the level of importance. And there's a hadith that reported from the Prophet ﷺ where he says, whoever is put in charge of the people's affairs and he dies cheating them, Allah has made it haram for that person to enter Jannah. So if you're in charge of some people's affairs and you cheat them and you die, Allah said it's forbidden for you to enter Jannah. Forbidden to enter Jannah. Now what is a greater punishment than being forbidden to enter Jannah? Nothing. That is the ultimate punishment. So this shows the level of responsibility that somebody has when they're put in charge of people's affairs. Also, we can see numerous examples through the history of the Muslims about rulers who understood this responsibility. So Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, one of the greatest rulers the Muslims had, when he was appointed the Khalif, the ruler of the Muslims, he fainted. As soon as he just fainted because he was so worried and he was so scared about the responsibility. But what do we see in the West? When they're appointed, when they're elected, they go on all-night benders. They go on election campaign parties and all of that because they're so happy that they got to the top. Because they know when they get to the top, they've got the top job, they're going to get lots of money, they're going to get lots of fame, and they're set for life. They don't view it like, right, I've got loads of responsibilities now. Everybody is relying on me. That's not the way they view it. But Islamic ruler or politician, he views it as a massive responsibility and he's scared. He's scared of taking up this position. Another example is Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. Also one of the greatest leaders the Muslims ever had. He used to stay up at night, awake, worrying. Do you know what about? He used to stay up at night worrying about donkeys and sheep and goats, whether they trip over on the roads in Iraq. SubhanAllah. He used to worry about goats and sheep. So imagine how much he's going to worry about the people's affairs. So this is an example of a man that has taken on this Islamic value of respecting this responsibility of being an Islamic ruler. There's another principle, another value that Islam has, and that is the importance of public property. So we see in the West, the politicians, they don't care about public property. They'll take public tax money, no problem whatsoever. They don't care at all. But in Islam, the public property is very sacred. You can't touch that property illegitimately. And there's lots of evidences that discuss this. So there's an ayah in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever took property illegally, he will bear what he took on the day of judgment. So if you took something illegally, you will have to answer for it on the day of judgment. Also, there's a famous story of a man who died in the Battle of Khaybar. And what happened is that the people, they saw this man, he died, and they started praising him and they started celebrating. He's died shaheed, he's so lucky, he doesn't have to be accounted, he's chilling, no problem. And the Prophet ﷺ, he heard about this and he said, but no, by Allah, that man, he took a cloak